Hello and welcome to the Church Podcast, where we talk to church people about church things. I'm your host, Ben Young. Join me on this adventure as we talk with amazing church members, helps ministers, leaders, and pastors as they share their insight and wisdom on church and ministry. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Church Podcast. Thank you again for joining me. I always say this, but man, you are in for a treat. Today's guest, I've known him for a long while. He was at Rhema Bible College, Rhema Bible Church, Rhema or Kenneth Hagin Ministries. He was there for right at 30 years. Served in so many capacities. He was worship leader, Crusade Director, did basically anything and everything. But without further ado, welcome everybody, my friend, Pastor Rich King. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, Ben, it's such an honor to be able to be with you today.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. You're just near and dear to my heart. And it was really cool. Just a minute ago when we got on the phone, your wife came and said hi. And I was like, oh my goodness, I feel like crying because you are just, I don't know, you're just family. It's kind of like one of those things where you don't talk. Yeah, you don't talk forever. And then when you do.
Exactly. In family, when you work together like that in such close proximity, the way we have in traveling together and doing, music together and the things we did at Rhema and the different events we did at Rhema, we come to learn to know each other, not only from a natural standpoint, from a spiritual standpoint as well.
Yeah.
And I say that no matter who I come in contact with, on people that I've traveled with and come close knit with them through all these years, just like now we come back together. We haven't talked in a good while, but it's like we've never left each other.
Yeah.
And we have that camaraderie and that bond together. And that's what I loved. One thing that people have always asked, what do you miss the most? And I said, that's the thing I miss the most, is that bond I have made with so many. But it's good. I was just in a Hagin meeting a few weeks ago and saw several of the people that I used to travel with. And of course, got a chance to visit with the Hagins a couple of times there at dinner. And again, it's like we never left. It was so awesome to be able to have that time with them.
Oh my goodness. That is so great. Yes. It's always so wonderful. And so really going back to that, I know I kind of briefly talked about it, just a little bit in the intro, but tell me a little bit about your time serving at, obviously they were there 30 years serving at Kenneth Hagin Ministries, Rhema Bible Training College. What capacities did you serve and how did you start?
Well, it's interesting even how it all got started. Kenneth Hagin, Senior, he and the Rhema Singers and Band came through our town here in Texas, and what we used to call back in the day one-nighters.
Okay.
And they came through our church there that I was serving at and volunteering. And of course, I had a secular job, but volunteering and doing sound as well and doing all the things that was needed for us and led worship as well or sang specials, whatever was asked of us. But they came through, and it was just like, boom, right down in my heart. And this is what I said. I said, I'm going to be traveling with a group just like that. And so then come to find out, about the school and different things. And I really felt a call of God on my life. Mm-hmm. And Christine and I both in our hearts said, we need to go and further our education through Bible training. And my brother had gone. I saw a transformation in him after 1 year at Rhema. And so when all that happened, I'm like, we need to go check it out. So we went to, they have a thing there in the springtime called Get Acquainted with Rhema. Mm-hmm. And we went to that. And what was several other people from our church that also ended up going to Rhema at the same time. And we come back home, back to Texas, and says, yeah, we need to do that. Wow. And so that following year, fall, we were enrolled through the summer and got accepted. And here we were in Tulsa, Oklahoma, starting Rhema in the fall of that year. I believe that was the year let me think here, it was 89, or not, excuse me, 1990, 1990,
Wow.
91.
Wow.
That was that school year.
Wow.
So went to Rhema and just didn't, actually, because I served so much in the other church, I thought I'm going to just go and just chill
Yeah.
and just get in the word and chill. But after I got there, I just felt strong in my heart, and somebody else came and says, "Man, you have a gift. You need to be using it." And I just felt in my heart, Christine and I both, she was a singer too, that we need to get involved.
Wow.
And so I had somebody else tell me, if you don't get involved, then you're not going to get everything you need to get out of Rhema.
Oh.
And oh, how I'm so thankful we did.
Yeah.
And it was funny. We got right involved and started singing in the choir and, doing whatever was asked of us. And then I got hired on right away. And Christina did too. She was in the data processing place there at Rhema. And then I got hired on in the grounds department, working the grounds. And then it wasn't just a month or so after I was in the grounds, they put me, they actually did a brand new place where they had myself and another guy, and they called us the setup crew. So they did a whole different department and made it up just for us because there was so many events going on.
You were the original setup crew.
I myself and a gentleman, he was a missionary called, or his name was Morton Svensson.
Wow.
He and I were the original setup crew at Rhema back in 1990 and 91. So did that and just was faithful to that. And got to just knowing I was there, and I'm like, I'm going to be a part of that Rhema Singers and Band one day. Wow. And the funny thing is, the trombone player, his name was Ken Turner. We were all playing racquetball one day, and I'm wet behind the ears, barely know anything, and I looked at him and really didn't even know about confession, but I said to him, I'm going to be a part of your group there, the Rhema Singers and Band. And he looked at me and just laughed, like a fake laugh. Yeah, good, buddy. Yeah, absolutely. We'll see you later. And so, needless to say, what a good friend of mine now, Ray Jean Wilson, he was leaving the group, and so they needed somebody to come on and take his spot. And so we tried out. Christine and I both did. We always laughed because Ray Jean was just so phenomenal that it took two of us, Christine and I, to even fill his shoes, or even try to fill his shoes, I should say. But we came on after he left in 91. He left, his last crusade was August of 91. And we came on right after that crusade and started rehearsing with them. And then our first crusade with the Rhema Singers and Band was in September of 1991.
Wow. And
that year, Brother Hagin did a crusade in November, the week of Thanksgiving.
Oh my!
And of course, we're big family people, and we're like, is this what we do? We don't even get to go home for family time during vacation and special holidays. And here we are out doing a crusade with Brother Hagin the week of Thanksgiving. We were actually in Jackson, Mississippi. I remember it. And so we all had Thanksgiving dinner with Mom and Dad Hagin around the table there at the hotel that we were at.
Wow.
And so, yeah, that was a lot of fun.
That's
and
cool.
So both of us started singing and just doing what we felt we needed to do, and served in all capacities that was asked of us, and just made ourselves faithful. And somebody taught me long ago, Rich, stay faithful. Just stay faithful. And as you do, God will show you other things to come. And if you stay faithful you probably have heard this before, but if you stay faithful in the little, I'll make things great for you in the future.
Wow.
And so we stayed faithful, what we felt in the little things, and was a part of that. And it wasn't, when we think here, a year or two after that, the manager that was part of the management group, it was probably about 6 months. Another manager came on, Jim Hockaday, and then he left after a year after that. And I believe it was, don't get my dates wrong, but then they asked me to become the manager of the Rhema Singers and Band.
Wow.
And so that's when that started. And then a few years after that, Dad Hagin asked me to be the Crusade Director.
Wow.
And so we did that, and so managed that, and of course had several albums that we helped on through the years. Christina and I both did with the Rhema Singers and Band, and it was just a phenomenal time. And of course, through those years, we traveled, and at one point we were gone 6 weeks at a time.
Wow.
We would do crusades. On one end, what we call Rhema Singers and Band one-nighters in between those.
Wow.
And that's when we would go and do a concert, and then one of us would minister that night.
Wow.
And then we'd probably end it with another crusade somewhere else. So we'd kind of work our way. Like I remember the one we started in Southern California.
Yeah.
It did a crusade, and then worked our way all the way up to Washington State.
Wow.
And we did one-nighters all the way up through that and into Oregon and different places, and then ended there. And that was, of course, we were young and we were loving it, and it was a lot of fun to do that. But looking back on it, we're like, how in the world did we do that? That's a lot of work and a lot of traveling, and but God gives you the grace to do what He's put in your path to do.
Yeah.
And we stayed faithful to it.
Wow.
Ben, it was important that we stayed that. Those times we wanted to quit, honestly. And like, we're tired of this. I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
But we stuck it out and stayed faithful to what God called us to do.
Yeah.
And to put ourselves in that position and just to allow God to see the things that are in the future that are coming, because we don't always know what's in the future.
Yeah.
But if we stay faithful in the things that God's put us in now, then God will again show those things to you as it comes, and then you'll have peace on the next steps in your life. And that's what Brother Keith Moore, we traveled with him, and he traveled with us, I should say, with Mom and Dad Hagin. And the one thing he always said, it always seemed right between me and the Holy Ghost.
Yeah.
And then he always said, I'll always follow after peace.
Wow.
And so we endeavor to follow after that. And were we excellent in doing it? No, we all always made those mistakes here and there that we made, but we followed after that. And again, God showed Himself faithful in all those things that we put ourselves, and what I say, put our hands to. Yeah. So it's been good.
Well, I think that's really cool because the audience, the people that I'm having, the audience who's listening to this, I think it's really important for them to hear things like that, because no matter what capacity you're in serving God, whatever you're doing, if you're doing sound, doing this or whatever, you said, just hit the nail on the head, like being faithful and just what you're called to do. I know sometimes we get, and even Jessica and I, my wife, we've talked a lot about, okay, like, all right, Lord, what do you have for us? Doing this, do that. And God has really helped to show us, like, well, be faithful in what the things I've shown you to do now, and do that. And, as a matter of fact, that's how you get into the next things. Like, that's how you learn more, or He'll show you more as, what are you faithful in doing now? What has God spoken to you to do right now? And it might be somebody doing sound, or somebody, whatever, serving in the capacity of a greeter or whatever at a local church or a ministry, or even in life, like things that God has spoken to you to do. It's like you said, just staying faithful and keeping your heart towards God, and that's what's important. And He'll show you those steps.
And keeping the right attitude, Ben.
Yeah.
So many times things come up and we see others, and I'm going to tell you, I saw others that were blessed, and some things weren't happening for Christina and I like I thought they should have.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say I got bitter, but I got resentful. I was like, okay, what's going on here? We've been faithful.
Yeah.
This one's being blessed more. And what's going on here? And I went over to a friend of ours that traveled with us, the Singers and Band. They ended up getting a beautiful home, and Christine and I were believing God for a home, and it wasn't happening as quickly as we wanted it to. But here's our friends that traveled with us. They got a beautiful home, and I got in there, and the Lord arrested me and says, you need to be happy and be joyful in those that are with, especially your friends here that are being blessed.
Wow.
And so I was like, real quick, I changed my attitude, and I literally walked in that house and started crying because I was so happy for him.
Oh, wow.
And it wasn't a matter of, months that some things started falling into place for us, that we was able to get our home, our first home.
Oh, my
And
goodness.
it's just putting yourselves in that position to not only be faithful, but have the right heart, the right attitude towards the things that God's called you to do.
Wow.
And again, when you do, he's going to show himself faithful.
Yeah.
That's the promises that he's given us. And so we have those things to stand on.
Mm-hmm.
And it don't always come the next day. It don't always come in 6 months. And a couple of things we're believing God for, it didn't come for years.
Yeah.
But we stayed faithful. We kept our heart right, and kept our heart in the right attitude. Were we perfect at it? No.
Mm-hmm.
But we at least endeavored to do our very best, and keeping our hearts right, and treating people. The one thing that God has always placed in my heart is to walk out love. And I learned that from Dad Hagin.
Yeah.
People always said, what was the best thing? Was it his faith teaching? What was it? And I said, no, it was his love walk.
Yeah.
And watching him walk in love, and towards others, and people that have said wrong things about him and to him, he just continued to walk in love to them.
Wow.
And so that was a huge, and again, I call him my mentor. He that was huge to watch him walk that out in his life, and then start applying those principles to my own life. And Christine and I both have seen those things happen. And again, it's a joyous thing that we, in those moments, you totally are excited for people. You're excited for everybody, growing in their gifts.
Yeah.
And we constantly were always pushing people, especially when we became the worship leaders there at Rhema. One of our responsibilities is to help grow and strengthen and produce more worship leaders, and grow the people that we are surrounding ourselves with, and putting love into them. And I was funny, Anthony, he's the Crusade Director now there at Rhema, and we were just with him a few weeks ago, and he was like, Rich, there's all the times I'm doing something, I always think, what would Rich do? What would Rich do? And he goes, he would walk in love. He'd walk in love towards this. And he goes, thank you. He said, thank you for putting that in me. And I'm like, well, Bubba, it wasn't always there in me, but again, we had to grow in that.
Yeah.
And when we see, other people now fulfilling what God's called them to do, and doing the things that God's put in me and now put in them, and they've learned that, through being close with us, and then us being close with the Hagins and the Dad Hagin, and the way we were. So I always call it the ripple effect. The things that he put into me, that I put into others, and now I'm seeing like an Anthony putting it into others, and seeing those folks now grow. So it is just phenomenal. And I love it, because when I was back at an event there at Rhema, Pastor Hagin came down, and he said, aren't you happy for these? Because the worship was really good. And he goes, and I know you put all that in them. I said, yes, Pastor. I said, I am so excited to see what God's doing, and seeing the growth in everybody. Because, when one steps away, other people have to step up. And that happens in ministry all the time. In volunteering, somebody will leave, an usher will leave, a singer will leave off the front line, or a bass player will leave, and then somebody else has to step up. And it's time to, and you got to know, okay, it's my time. I got to step up. And do it with a glad heart. And just put yourself in that position to be ready. And you might not be the first bass player or the first drummer, but get yourself in a position to be ready to be that first drummer. And not just the one that they call on for a backup, but you're going to be ready to do. And so that's what happened at Rhema. We had got to the point we had so many great drummers, and so we was able just to move them around, and not to have to depend on one all the time. So.
Wow. Well, see, that's really, it's so cool that you said that, because I was literally thinking that, like I was thinking trickle effect or whatever, but see, I saw that in you, and, I got to travel, did sound when you were the Crusade Director. And it is so cool to see that. Like, I've had so many conversations, me and my wife, of you, and just how much like I learned and I saw that in you. And it's really cool. I mean, I'm living proof to watch like how you got that from Brother Hagin.
Yep.
And you walked that way, and you shared what we watched you walk that out as a leader. And as a leader, you acted that. You didn't just talk about it, you walked it out. And we saw that, and that gets inside of us, like you said, and it just trickles down. And it's just so cool to see that.
And now you're putting that in others.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's just awesome. It's just so cool to see that.
But that's the way God intended for it to be.
Yeah.
And it never should be a place of trying to be the best, or what we used to say, competition.
Yeah.
We're never in competition with one another.
Yeah.
We're always esteeming one another. We're lifting each other up, and we're doing our best to pull out the best gifts in each other.
Wow.
And when we do that, there's just something on the inside that just makes my heart jump for joy.
Yeah.
I'll use Anthony as somebody that can sing circles around me. But to have him come in and step in and do what he could do, and never say, "Oh, I want to be the best singer. I want to do." No, you take those gifts that you got. I learned this a long time ago. You surround yourself with people better than you.
Yeah.
And when you do that, the whole thing will flourish.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so picking up people like Patrick Vandiver, that they came back to work with us, and putting people like that in positions that are way better in that key roles than you are. And that's what you do. And then you let them flourish in their gifts, and help them to be the best that they can be in those particular gifts that they have.
Wow. That is so great. Oh my goodness. So, wow, this is so good. One thing I was going to say too, what you said that really stuck out to me: prepare to be the next bass player, the next whatever. And it's about preparation, not just say, "Well, I'll do this when the time comes." It's like, no, you prepare yourself, and you just walk it out like it's happening. And I just love that.
I remember a preacher friend of mine. He says, "Oh, you believe in God for a car?" Yeah, I'm believing. But where are you going to put it? Look at your garage. You don't even have room in your garage to put a car in there.
Wow.
You need to start preparing to have a new car.
Wow. Oh my.
And it's like, but that is in all aspects of life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever you're believing for, are you ready to get that? Have you done everything? Are you ready to be the next drummer? Have you rehearsed and done everything you need to be? Or are you ready to be the alto? Have you been learning your parts? Have you been doing all the things you need to do to acclimate yourself to be in that position?
That's so
people
good.
all the time, we had the big choir there, and everybody wanted to be on the front line, but I just wouldn't let anybody on the front line.
Yeah.
Number one, they had to have a voice and be able to portray, because again, you just don't put anybody up there.
Yeah.
I'll look at you and say, turn their mic down and don't let them sing. Don't let them sing in the house.
Yeah.
But I would say, I want to see their heart. Where's their heart? Are they producing love, and when they are singing and ministering from that, what's coming out of them, and are they ready to be that? And some of them weren't ready. I had to tell them, said, "Hey, just keep being faithful to the choir." And I said, I look at faithfulness. If you've been faithful to that choir, and then you can hold the key right, you can stay on tune and stay on pitch, then we're going to promote you. And we did for a lot of them.
Yeah.
And some of them, even because they had the ability to be able to travel, we moved them on to traveling with us.
Yeah.
And that was a whole nother deal that, for people to have the opportunities to do.
Yeah.
And, and then seeing those folks grow. Some of those in the beginning, they were just a good, what I call a good background singer. They were never a leader.
Yeah.
But as they kept putting themselves forward and pushing themselves, pushing their gifts and enhancing their gifts, a lot of them became what we'd have them lead out on songs. I know you remember several of them that we would, in the beginning, we wouldn't have them, but as it went, they started leading out. Case in point now is my daughter-in-law, Melissa, and seeing her in the beginning, she was a phenomenal singer, but just a little bit timid. And I'm not saying something she don't already know. And all of a sudden, boom, she came out of her shell and was amazing. And now she's leading all the time there at the church that they're part of and doing phenomenal. And so, just to see those people like that grow, through the years, and it's not just her, but there's lots of others that the same scenarios have happened.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my goodness. So that is wonderful. So tell me about the transition. That was a big transition. I mean, you were there at Rhema for 30 years. Tell me a little bit about kind of what was on your all's heart and,
Well, Ben, you step in and you're into things, and you just know at some point things need to change.
Mm-hmm.
And in my heart of hearts, I knew some things needed to change there at Rhema in that capacity.
Mm-hmm.
And talking with the Hagins, I just knew it was time for me to step away. Mm-hmm. And I really had my dad on my heart.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just told Miss Lynette, I said, I really need to go back home. Mm-hmm. And spend more time with my dad. My dad had just turned 80.
Yeah, wow.
And I really wanted to come back and have a season with him.
Yeah.
And I actually asked God, I said, I want at least 5 years. And so he just turned 86 a couple of months ago. And so he'll be 87 this December coming up. Wow. And so I'm so thankful for that time. And we get to see each other every week and usually do lunch once or twice a week.
Wow.
And enjoying that. And there's a couple of times he had some mishaps even through the COVID time. Like he had COVID really bad. We thought at one time that he wasn't going to make it. And I'm like, no, Lord. Nope. It has not been at least 5 years.
It's not been that 5 years.
And again, I that's why I stressed at least. I want a lot more than that, but I said at least, give me that.
Yeah.
And so being able to come back and spend that quality time with him. And I had several people, not just one or two. I mean, lots of people just valued, said, Rich, yes, we miss you at Rhema, but I know that this is huge for you. And they said, we honor that in you. Wow. to put your dad first like that, to go back and spend time with him. And I've had several people that lost their dad. When I say lost, they went to heaven, but they didn't get that opportunity, and they come back and say, we wish we had that opportunity.
Wow.
And I'm very thankful, and I've told Pastor Lynette too, how much I love them, but this was very important to me, and they of course honored that. It wasn't easy leaving, of course.
Yeah.
But it was definitely a thing that needed to happen. And Dan Taylor, doing being the worship pastor there, the worship leader, and then Anthony doing my other job as Crusade Director and leading out on the road. They all have done a tremendous job, and I've been back and watched some of the different videos that has gone on from there, and they're doing phenomenal. So I'm so thankful, because I knew that's one thing I told Pastor. I said, when you leave it, if they're not at least taking it and then taking it to another level, then as a leader, you did not do your job.
Wow. That's good.
If you leave and there's holes, you did not do your job.
Yeah. Wow.
You cannot leave a place and leave holes in a place, because what's going to happen is it could possibly fall apart. But if you've done everything you know to do to train and to put people in a position to succeed and to flourish, then they should be able to, like we talked about earlier, it's time to step up. Okay, it's your time to step up and now take this role.
Yeah.
And to do it. And Dan's done it. Anthony's done it. And some of the other jobs that I did there, other people are doing those, and they've stepped up and did it and are doing it. So then you feel like, okay, I've left, and I don't have an issue with leaving and having any withdrawals of, oh man, this isn't happening. This isn't happening. And I mean, I feel bad that I left because now this has kind of gone downhill. But no, it's not like that. So.
Yeah. Wow. That's so great. That's so great to look back and see that and be like, yep, we're good. You were good.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. Absolutely. Yeah. And going back to camp meeting, like the year later, and I'm like, oh no, they got this.
Yeah.
They got this.
That's
Hallelujah.
awesome. That's awesome.
And and people would say, "Are you going to sing? You're going to sing?" I'm like, "I hope not.
Yeah.
They don't need to call me. They've got this.
They've
Don't call
got
me up
this.
there."
Yeah.
Well, pastor would call up if it was a Rhema singer and band song. He'd say, "I know Rich is here. Like,
Yeah.
why don't you come up here and sing this?"
Yeah.
So we would do that. So actually, at this last crusade, they had us come up and we helped sing "He'll Do It Again," which is an old R&B
Oh,
song.
that's
So
awesome.
he ministered along those lines. So yeah.
Wow, that's so great. Oh my goodness. So tell me about now what your involvement in ministry and what you do, your work and
Yeah. So
about that.
my family, my sister and brother-in-law started a company in the flooring industry
Wow.
back in the 80s.
Wow.
And I actually started with them
Wow.
before I left to go to Rhema
Oh wow.
back in 80. It was 86, 7, and 88.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went to another college for a couple of years and then went to Rhema in 90.
Yeah.
And then so I helped them. And so I came back and they're like, "Man, we need help. We need help." And I'm like, "Okay, absolutely. We'll be." I prayed about it, of course. And we
Mm-hmm.
said, "Absolutely." And we wanted we knew no matter where, and this is important, no matter where we would go,
Mm-hmm.
we knew that we were going to be a blessing to the body
That's
of
awesome.
Christ.
Yeah. Yeah.
And knowing we could put ourselves in any position
Mm-hmm.
and to help a local church.
Wow.
And so, we didn't help a local church. We actually were thinking about starting a church. And so we did some things there. And the thing was, right when we wanted to start, COVID hit.
Wow.
And that's not a good time to start a church, and then everybody go to podcast and or Zoom or something.
Yeah.
So we were doing Zoom church, and we had probably 15 to 20 people that were looking, but majority of them were people that knew us from other places, and so we had people from other cities across the country joining in.
Oh wow.
And I'm like, no, this is not what this is supposed to be.
No. Yeah.
And so we had a local church here that was, he's a Rhema pastor as well, Rhema graduate. And we just felt led in our heart to go help them and just be a blessing. And so I kind of, and I say kind of, he kind of put me in a role as an associate pastor.
Wow.
We have a worship leader, so they're doing the worship. Christine and I will still help sing and to help with parts and different things, just very nonchalant and just enjoying our time doing that. Christina will play, she plays keys, so she'll play a bunch of Sundays as well, and just enjoying that. And I'll minister on a regular basis there. Wow. And then also we do a Wednesday night. We changed it to like a class. Our Wednesday night is like a class, like a Rhema class.
Wow.
And so, really teaching people, getting a little bit deeper depths in the Word. Wow. And so we call it God Seekers.
Oh, wow.
And so it's 1 hour of teaching the Word and digging into the Word. And, wow. And so we have people who've been faithful to that. And wow. So we've just been trudging along doing that right now. And that's where, again, faithful to where God has us right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Our kids don't live with us anymore, so they all live in other parts of the country, and so that's a little difficult for us.
Yeah,
because we're such family people. But anyways, we're in a season right now that we get to spend with our family. Christina's mom lives with us now, so she's close, and so my dad again was within 40 minutes of where we live. Wow. And so we live in the Austin area, and the church we're helping out is a suburb of Austin. It's Georgetown, Texas. Wow. And so we're helping with them. It's Faith Impact Church. Wow. So we're enjoying that. And that's where God has us right now.
Yeah.
And so we're just staying faithful to that.
Well, that's really cool because it's really interesting to me because, I kind of did the same thing in a sense. Like I was different capacity, but, being on staff at a church and then transitioning out and working and then being part of the church. And I'm curious to get your take on that because for me, like we can go back to, you always have the grace to do what you're called to do at that moment, right. But for me, it was nice because it's nice to, obviously I could serve here and on it. I can be a blessing and minister to people out there in the world in my job, but to
Absolutely.
serve in a church at a capacity as a volunteer or as a different, like where I'm not on staff, it's actually, it's been really awesome and refreshing. And I'm not saying
Yes.
like one's bad and one's good, but for me, the season I'm in, it's been wonderful. And I'm curious
Absolutely.
what it's like for
I'm in the
you.
same boat, Ben. It was just when we got into the secular realm of working in the secular jobs, Christine and I both, it was refreshing. It
Yeah.
was awesome. I laugh at this, and you'll laugh at this too. But in my first year of working in the secular field, I heard more F bombs in that 1 year than I did in my whole lifetime before. And I'm like, oh, is this just normal? What is going on here? And so it's like, oh my goodness, here we go. But,
Yeah.
our goal was just to be a light into the people that we surround ourselves with.
Yeah.
And, you can get discouraged. And,
Hmm.
and at times, the devil will just, several times, they'll say, "Oh, look at what you're doing now. Look what you used to do and look what you're doing now."
Yeah.
And you're going into these homes. And again, we sell flooring, whether
Uh-huh.
it be carpet, tile, luxury vinyl plank, whatever. We sell all that and do shower installs, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And so,
Wow.
so I go into people's homes.
Yeah.
And so I said, Lord, I want to be a blessing no matter where I come. And I remember Brother Hagin teaching us, he goes, the anointing's all over you. If you get around people, they'll sense the anointing.
Yeah.
And I said, Amen. And I said, I believe that. And I
Yeah.
said, Lord, I want to people to sense the anointing and know the presence of you no matter where I go.
Yeah.
And so went into this one house. I'll tell the one instance of a story, and it's happened several times.
Uh,
But did my deal, my little spill, and showed her different carpets or whatever, and I forget
yeah.
what flooring it was. But I left and went back to the office, and my other sister, I have twin sisters, but my other sisters, she answers the phone. She's the office manager
Hmm.
there, and so this lady called her. I called the office there, and my sister Tanya picked up the phone, and she goes, "There's something different about that guy that came in. His name was Rich. Uh, what? I couldn't put my finger on it." And my sister goes, "Well, we are Christians." She goes, "I knew it. I knew it." She goes, "I felt the very presence of God when he walked in my house."
Oh,
And that was
wow.
confirmation to me, Ben, of yes, that is there. And people can, if the people are sensitive,
Hmm.
they will sense it. No.
Yeah.
And I like the way Brother Hagin, if there's anything going on, got to minister, went to a house, and the guy had Lou Gehrig's disease and was able to, he asked, he sensed the same thing. And I asked him, I said, "Do you mind me praying for you?" He said, "Oh, please pray for me. Please pray for me." I got to lay hands on him in the
What?
house where I'm selling other
Oh
products.
my
And
goodness.
so, the opportunities are there. And that's like you said earlier, it's just refreshing to be able to go in because I'm doing one-on-one with these people and able to
Yeah.
talk to them
Yeah.
and make a difference in their lives and not only in their lives, it's making a difference in my life.
Oh my
So
goodness.
it's been things like that have been happening and it's been phenomenal.
Oh.
We're excited about that.
Yeah, I love that. And like you said, it's so great to know and like people like hearing you inspires me because we've gone through the things like you have things on your heart and you feel like, okay, I was doing this, what am I doing? But it's so cool just be in the season that you're in and just like you
Hmm.
said, God's using you in a mighty way, and I'm sure, I don't know if you have stories, but there might be people who would never go to church, but you might have an opportunity to take Jesus to them, even if you're just who you are, and not even if you're just preaching to them, just taking
Well,
God with you.
it's the people. Yes, exactly. Because the people that you work with,
Hmm.
they see a difference.
Yeah.
And again, a lot of them, the F bomb will come out and they'll go, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry." And I'm like, "Oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's okay."
Yeah.
And a couple of them, uh, again, drama, drama, drama. And my sister's good about it. We talk with them and tell them, our stories. And my sister, that's the office manager there, she has a phenomenal testimony. And we've seen a difference in some of these people the way they talk now.
Wow.
and the way they are handling life now. And it's not a major thing where, they're all serving God and they're ready to go to Bible school. No, but they are making a difference in the way they talk and the way they handle life by what myself and or my sister, what we're putting in these people around us.
Oh my goodness.
And so it's huge. It's just little nuggets here and there. And, they always say, you just handle things differently. It's just, there's a peace about you. And I'm like, yeah, that's just I said, I decide to walk in that.
Yeah.
And I don't let anything bother me. I choose to not let things bother me.
Yeah.
And they're like, man, I wish I could have that. And I said, well, you can if you want to. I said, it's a choice.
Yeah.
You got to make the choice to walk that out.
Oh my.
Well, I just don't know. And I said, well, it's up to you, but you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it.
Wow.
And so just putting those little nuggets into people,
Yeah.
and eventually we've seen some things, the way they handle themselves now, several of them, but others, I know they're going to be coming around, and we're happy to see those things, fulfill in other people's lives as well.
Wow. That is so great. Oh my goodness. Well, thank you so much. There's so many questions here that I was going to ask you that you answered. And it always seems that way. Things that I was going to
right?
Tell me about this, tell me how this, and you just talked about it. And I just, like I said, this has been so wonderful because you're so near and dear to my heart, and just having the opportunity to talk to you and just hear about your life and what you're doing now. And just, it's just exciting. And I just really appreciate you taking the time to talk with us.
Well, absolutely, Ben. And I love you. And when you asked me, I said, I honor you so much, and the capacity that we all worked together in, and the things that you did, and the heart that you had for not only ministry, but for people. That's why I feel so close to you, and there's such a camaraderie with you. And so I was honored that you even asked me, and I appreciate this time to be able to visit with you on your podcast.
Oh, thank you. Well, you know what? We might have to do a version 2 sometime, because I know there's so much more, and we'll definitely, I would love to do that.
I would love to. I would love to.
Once again, everyone, this is my great friend, Pastor Rich King, Associate Pastor of Faith Impact Church in Georgetown, Texas. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate all your wisdom. Love you, sir.
Love you too, buddy.
Thank you for joining me on the Church Podcast. How has the Church Podcast impacted you? Do you like the content? Would you like different content? I would love to hear from you. Email me at thechurchpodcastwithben@gmail.com, or go to my website, thechurchpodcastwithben.podbean.com. Are you enjoying the podcast? Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. Once again, thank you for joining me on this journey of the Church Podcast.